Melila Hellner-Eshed is a senior research fellow at the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem. She has taught for the past 25 years Jewish mysticism and Zohar at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem and serves on the faculty of the Institute of Jewish Spirituality. She has been teaching and working with Jewish communities around the world. Her publications include A River Flows from Eden, The Language of Mystical Experience in the Zohar, put out by Stanford University Press in 2009. Seekers of the Face, The Secrets of the Idra Rabbah in the Zohar, also put out by Stanford in 2022. And her new book, co-written with Omri Shasha, On the Path of the Tree of Life, An Introduction to the Zohar, is with Brandeis University Press and forthcoming, so get your copies. Melila is active in the Sulcha, a reconciliation project that brings together Israelis and Palestinians. I want to say a thank you again to the committee of people who worked on putting Melila's visit together, to Sue Slatkoff and to Krisha Miller, and to Jody, our executive director, and of course to Sabina Sager. Melila's visit has been put together with a fund, that the Sager Scholar Fund, that was founded in the wake of Rabbi Sager's passing. And really what Steve said to me in terms of remembering him is he wanted there to be more Torah, more learning, more study. We are very excited that we will begin a yeshiva week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this upcoming week. We have more than 25 people registered to spend the entire morning in prayer and breakfast and learning and writing. Rabbi Tamara Miller is here to help us with the writing portion of that. We're grateful for her presence. And I will say, in addition to reminding people to please turn their cell phones to silent in the sanctuary on Shabbat, I will say that there are many gifts that I received from Steve, from Rabbi Sager, through our years together, and a precious one is to get to know one of his teachers and friends, Melila. Hi. אם אפשר.
Thank you, Daniel. Shabbat Shalom. I'm very honored and moved to be here for this Shabbat with this congregation, and even more so to spend days of learning Torah and poetry and our own lives together in this week of study commemorating Rabbi Steve Sager, who was my dear friend and colleague and teacher. And I want to thank, like you said, Daniel, I want to thank everybody that thought about this and mostly invite people to come and partake in this wonderful opportunity of studying together. And thanks Sabina for being my friendly, lovely host, and everybody who's here. And I want to say a few things because as far as I understand, we're going to meet again after lunch when everybody's like getting back into wherever we are after this long and beautiful service. And I just want to say, before saying the very sad things that we have to say concerning this parasha, I want to say something about what we just sang when we finished the Torah, the reading of the Torah part of this, which is Etz Chaim Hi Lamachazikim Ba. You know, the Torah is a tree of life. And I'm saying it because it is going to be Rosh Chodesh Shvat, which, Tu B'Shvat can be on the 15th, or depending on who you read in the Mishnah, it's the first of Shvat. But it's really to just bring into our consciousness that great tree of life that the Torah is for us. Yeah, we say when we read the Torah, Chayei olam nata betochenu, you have planted within us, eternal life through the fact that we can get out of just what we're doing all and every moment, and we can touch Torah. We can be in that creative place of connecting to the eternal. So I hope we have wonderful many more years with that great tree. And I want to say some things about Parashat Vayera, and we're going to continue them after lunch, looking at them more closely. But I want to say Parashat Vayera is really the heart of darkness. It is the heart of darkness, and it's not easy to be in Parshiot that are the heart of darkness. If we give them that, if we give them the attention and the reading of it. But it's the heart of darkness in two directions, okay? It is the most muted, deadened moment for the enslaved people of Israel. Okay, it is the time that there is no spirit, in the people. It's the time of total anguish. Yesterday we were reading Nachmanides, who was describing how this slow process, the slow bureaucratic legal process of turning people into slaves is now at its now it's at its worst. Like we've hit rock bottom. And the other side of the parasha, it's another encounter with darkness, is that it's the beginning of the plagues, right? The beginning of the plagues is disastrous, right? It's havoc on the whole country of Egypt. And it's very interesting to think, like, what attitude do we have towards the Egyptian men, women, children that are going through this hell while we're in this muted, almost dead situation inside the state of slavery. So what I want to say about the people of Israel, and that interested me for years, is the fact that it's so stunning that at the beginning of this parsha, God comes out with this amazing, actually kind of romantic statement, this grand pathos saying, I hear you, I see you. I will come, I will remember, I will come, I will take you, I will bring you, I will redeem you, I will deliver you. Right? We have all the lishonot of Geulah, all the words of redemption that we say in the Pesach Seder, right? We have them here. And it's this unbelievable statement of, it's going to be okay. I will take you to people. It's like a wedding. It's like a invitation to the great betrothal that will take place. And what does the Torah say in our parasha? That Moshe delivered this most hopeful statement to the people, and the people could not hear. The people could not hear. And I think that's something that I want us to try and understand. Maybe we'll look at it more closely, but I just want to say, that's the language, that from the hardship, from the work, lo sham'u min ha'avodah hakasha u'mikotzer ruach, right? There's a shortness of breath. What is the meaning of that shortness of breath? Kotzer ruach. And what is the meaning of not being able to hear, right? What does it mean? Like, we're the people that are supposed to hear. But somebody's coming to you with a balm, with a medicine, and you can't hear, right? And you can't hear. So that is the state that we find Bnei Israel in this parasha. And all the most wonderful and creative commentators have tried to figure out how to explain that. That when finally somebody comes with the message of hope, there's nobody there to listen to. And we'll be looking later, after lunch, we'll be looking at a very amazing, we'll be studying Zohar on this, and we'll be looking at a very special Torah that Kalman Klanimus Shapiro of Piaseczna, the other one, the descendant of the one that Rabbi Daniel was speaking about yesterday, wrote in the Warsaw Ghetto, trying to really give words to this state in his reading of this parasha in 1941, where he says, now I'm understanding what that means. What does it mean when there is no one to hear? So we'll be looking at that. And I think the other point or the other side that I just want to mention is we go into these in the cycle of the stories of enslavement and redemption. This is the parasha where Dam Tzfardea Kinim Arov Dever Shchin Barad Arbe, where we have so many of the plagues coming over the people of Egypt. And I want to mention something that was very, very special for me to encounter, and that was the cycle of poems written by Natan Alterman in 1945 called Shirei Makot Mitzrayim, right? It's the poems of how do you say makot, not the plagues in this case, but the beatings, the lashing at Egypt. And it was an amazing moment that this poem appeared, and people were in a very, very conflicted kind of emotions around it, right? Because here were people just getting to know the level of devastation of the Jewish people in Europe. And Natan Alterman is sitting in Tel Aviv and writing a long, long poem about a father and his daughter with her red atzep, with her red braids, and his son, who are living through the plagues. And it's devastating. It's devastating. It's devastating. And he speaks about the price that innocent people pay in the great, breaking of tyranny, right? There's the breaking of the tyranny of Egypt, which is going to be our birth. It's going to be our birth. But in doing so, right, even though there's that huge war between Yud-Heh, Vav-Heh, and Pharaoh, right, this cosmic war, the daughter with the red braids and the son who's going to die in the last plague and the father who's going to... And he found a way to kind of allow us to see that. And I want to say that it was a great teaching. It was a great teaching for me. And I want to say that it also has to do with something that connected me very much with Steve Sager, which was, what does poetry allow us to say that we cannot say in other ways? That we cannot, you cannot say it in prose. But there's a way that when we use language in the poetic, we can bring out those emotions that were very difficult to see, especially when people were in the state of vengeance, of incredible vengeance. In our tradition, the way to maybe mitigate the vengeance is, we put the drops of wine when we read the plagues. But he gave it language, and he gave it language in the poetic. And I think that's a most amazing understanding. But it means that we're in the parasha where these two things are happening simultaneously. Yeah, we are lying like the dust of the field are the children of Israel, and this is what's starting to happen to the population of Egypt. And maybe one more thing that I feel that is very important to say before we end this part of the morning is that it's also the parsha of the appearance of a new consciousness regarding God. And that is amazing. That is an amazing moment that that God as Yud Hey Vav Hey, God as presence, God as what was and is and will be, speaks to Moshe saying, your ancestors saw me, Va'era el avotecha. That's the name of the parasha. I was seen by our ancestors in the name of El Shaddai, right? And names matter, and the names of God matter even more. But the opening is saying they saw me in a certain way, and I now am I'm giving myself to you to be known, right? And as Yud Hey Vav Hey, right? In this new, so I don't want to get into like all kinds of very fascinating theologies that have to do with this moment, but I do want to say that for all mystical commentators and for all of Chassidut, it was very, very important to understand what is the meaning when there is a paradigm shift in the way we understand God, in the way we imagine God, in the way we call out to God. Yeah, and that's a huge thing that is happening in our parsha. That our forefathers and foremothers had intimations. They saw, they had, intuitions about this God as presence. But now Moshe has that intimate knowing of it. Nodati. It's the knowing, it's the dat. It's the acknowledgement and knowledge of it. So it's the birthing of a new chapter in our understanding of God. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you, and I hope we have a wonderful week.